Here at Three Trees, we want you to do well in your care worker interview and for you to enjoy the experience. We want you to pass, even if you're not applying for a job here with us. Wherever you are, whichever company you are applying for, we'll be rooting for you. The very fact you are willing to be or remain part of the health and social care industry is testament to your caring disposition, and for that, we'd like to lend you a little helping hand. As a result, we're offering you 10 tested tips to smash your next care worker interview, even if you have no experience. Okay, let's get straight into it, starting at number 10. Number 10, understand that you do not need to be qualified. Crazy, right? I mean, we work with some of the most vulnerable people in society, and yet you do not need any qualifications to become a social care worker. Sure, you can get qualifications in health and social care, and for some care providers this may be preferable, but I repeat, at present you do not need any qualifications to be a social care worker. This is something which, overall, is considered frustrating by many care providers, and there is a consistent drive from the social care sector for the government to recognise the social care workforce as the professionals in which they are, hoping that one day our training and corresponding qualifications will be likened to that of the NHS. However, until those wishes are met, it remains easier for you to join a social care company, and when you consider that most care providers are screaming for staff, those wishing to become a care worker have never been in such a good position to get their foot through that front door. But just because you don't need training prior to accepting your care worker job, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't receive any. A responsible provider should be inducting you into their company well, giving you all the appropriate training you need to fulfill your roles and responsibilities. The most common mandatory training can include first aid, manual handling, safeguarding, fire safety, infection control, food hygiene, and equality and diversity. But you may, and most probably will, need additional trainings. These may include such things as person-centered practices, report writing, autism awareness, and much more. I would urge for you to remain skeptical of providers that offer you next to no training and push for you to begin providing care after only a day or so of induction and/or shadowing. Make no mistake, just because there is no need for you to have any qualifications or knowledge prior to joining a care company, it doesn't mean that you should continue in the same vein. Okay, number 9, simple but effective. Get yourself onto their social media pages. As soon as you get a chance, join, subscribe, or follow all of the social media channels of the company you're going to be applying for. Okay, so this may not be the typical top interview tip, but bear with me, there is method to my madness. First off, by subscribing or following a company's social media pages, you're demonstrating that you actually care about the company's cause. And the cool thing is, you can do this way before you even apply for the job. Now this, of course, is great for the company you're applying for, new subscribers, more likes, follows, etc., as it's great for building their brand awareness, but it also serves you too, as you'll be able to get a good feel for if the company is right for you. The content they publish will undoubtedly be aligned with what they care about and can give you some good topics of conversation to raise should you get the chance during your interview. Bonus points for the people that like, comment on, and share company posts too. Number 8, know your why. Take the time to really understand why it is you want to work in the position that you are applying for. Why is this job role so important to you? Why do you want to care for another? Why do you want to work for this company rather than any other? It is a powerful question to ask yourself why. It has the potential to uproot answers that you may have not yet considered or help you to shape and refine your core values and strengths, further bolstering the effectiveness and confidence of your interview answers. You need to be able to sell yourself, and by knowing your why, you can help to solidify the value that you can add to the company and the difference that you can make to the lives of the people that you support. If you really can't figure out why it is that you want the position, it's unlikely that the job you're applying for is actually right for you. Number 7. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Do your research and prepare for the position that you are applying for. Should they have a half-decent website, you'll be able to learn a lot about the company without even needing to speak to anyone. Websites often include companies' mission, aims, objectives, values, types of service, and also what their specific jobs entail. You'd be surprised on how many of the people I have interviewed who have not yet bothered to look at our company's website, simply to get a good understanding of who we are and what we do. Besides websites, you can also read reviews and inspection reports about the company online too. Google reviews, Facebook reviews, Glassdoor, CQC reports, etc. can all give you a good indication of what you can expect from the company that you're going to be applying for. And once you're armed with this information, why not ask to speak to somebody from the company? Reach out to them and ask them any questions you may have, or to address anything that you may have been concerned about whilst gathering information during your online research. Most companies will be happy that you bothered to ring in the first place, and again, it shows that you care about the job and that you are taking a proactive approach. It is a good idea to take the time and think about the potential questions that could be asked and prepare how you would answer them. Questions such as, what excites you about working in care? What is your understanding of person-centered care? What would you do if you witnessed poor practice? Describe a situation where you helped someone who needed assistance. The list goes on, and of course will be determined by the company you're applying for, the types of service that they offer, and the position that you're going to be undertaking. Number 6, know your availability and flexibility. It's important to understand that we are a people-centric industry, and as such, shifts, services, duties, and hours can change at a moment's notice. As a result, it's helpful for companies to be clear on what your availability is right from the very get-go. Do you hope to be full-time or part-time? What is the amount of weekly hours you're hoping to work? Would you be open to working overtime? And what days or hours would you be unable to work? Of course, generally speaking, the more open and flexible you are, the better. But depending on the role you're applying for and who you're applying with, your flexibility might not be a determining factor. By having a good understanding of your availability and flexibility, you demonstrate to the interviewers that you are organized and well prepared and set clear intentions of a harmonious relationship moving forward. Number 5. Dress to impress, even if you're attending the interview digitally. So by now we have prepped and planned as well as we could have, and we now find ourselves the evening before the big day. Now we all know that first impressions count, so it can be beneficial to ensure that we're dressed appropriately. Smart casual to office attire is usually what is considered to be acceptable. This particular bit of advice you may think to be pretty obvious, but ladies and gentlemen, I have seen it all. From people turning up in lycra to people wearing musical instruments, very little surprises me these days. Also, making the effort to dress appropriately is yet another, albeit visual, statement to the interviewers that you care about the job that you're applying for. This statement is true whether you're attending a face-to-face interview or via digital means. Number 4, manners cost nothing. Be courteous. Be punctual and turn up on time. If online, this may mean having to check your computer equipment prior to the interview taking place so that you have all the necessary links, cameras, and audio working, ready to conduct yourself in a professional manner. If you're participating in face-to-face interviews, ensure to be nice, courteous, and friendly to everyone you meet, from the cleaner to the cook to the random person holding the door open for you as you walk into the company's premises. And I know it's difficult, but try not to be so nervous that you forget to ask how the interviewers are, or become so averse to small talk that you don't actually demonstrate how much of a personable individual you can be. It's important for the interviewers to see that you have a natural tendency to get on well with others, regardless of the situation. And guess what? Interviewers are human too. We like to be asked how it's going or if we've had a nice day. But being courteous doesn't mean that it must be to those always directly in front of you. You do well to remain courteous in all aspects of the interview. I've heard plenty of interviewees providing entire monologues of how awful their last employer was or how bad their previous colleagues were. And although this may be true, this is a real turn-off for the interviewers. Don't do it. Now, if you're unable to attend the interview for whatever reason, make sure to ring ahead and explain why. I can't tell you the amount of times people haven't had the courtesy to do this and then try to reapply for the same job at a later date. These people will always be starting again on the back foot. Ensure this doesn't happen to you. Number 3, life is like a mirror. Smile at it and it smiles back at you. Please don't forget to smile. I've already explained that we are a person-centric industry, and one in which celebrates such attributes as being caring, kind, compassionate, and thoughtful. And it's hard to imagine these attributes without the complimentary smile. A simple smile can brighten someone's day. It has a miraculous ability to be contagious and to impart positive feelings onto others. Let me ask you, if you were being cared for by someone else, would you want this person to be a smiler? If you were working within a team, would you want these people to be smiling? I hope the answers to these questions would be a big fat yes. Now, I can't guarantee that you will end up smiling throughout your entire social care working career, or that your colleagues will either, but you do want to make a positive impression onto those who will be determining whether or not you land a job, and a smile combined with a positive disposition will go a long way. Number 2, better to be interested than interesting. ask questions. And in this respect, it may be considered good practice to think of all the questions you may wish to ask ahead of time. If done correctly, asking questions at your interview can demonstrate a genuine and authentic interest, giving those interviewing you the impression of sincerity and good intent. Also, using thoughtful, open-ended questions is a good way to begin building trust and rapport, two qualities that are very much needed in social care work. But if done incorrectly, questions can be a real turn-off. Consider somebody asking the following questions. How much annual leave do I get? How can I earn more money? Do I have to do personal care? Do you notice about these questions? Well, from an interviewer's point of view, they come across as self-serving. And the questions impart a feeling that they only care about themselves. Not the best look if you're trying to apply for a social care working role. Now, these questions may all be valid, and you might find yourself wanting them all answered, but you would fare better if your approach took into consideration those that you wish to serve. Let's look at it from a different angle. I want to give the very best of myself to you and those I serve. For this to happen, I'll need to recharge my batteries every once in a while. So how much annual leave would I be entitled to? I'm really ambitious and would love to do well in the company. Would there be any opportunity for me to advance my pay and position? I understand this job role may require providing services that are sensitive in nature. Would my job role include providing personal care? Hopefully you'll be able to see the vast difference in approach, but it will still elicit the response that you're looking for. Make sure that the question you ask reflect that you care about the people you will both be working with and for all those you will be supporting. Number 1. Don't stress, you'll be fine. I've seen people stress, stutter, sweat, and shake in interviews no matter how much of a comfortable environment I've tried to make it. And still, a lot of these people have landed the job. Why? Because we as interviewers are not trying to determine how good you are at interviewing. Ultimately, we want to know if we are investing in a kind and caring individual who can align themselves with our vision and values. The skills, qualifications, and knowledge in which to perform the social care worker role can be taught. Attitude and character can't be. As I've already explained, a lot of care companies are looking to hire, so if you follow these top 10 tips, you should stand yourself in good stead. But worst case scenario, you don't get the job. You will have still gained interview experience and can use this as an opportunity to learn and grow. If this is the case, don't be afraid to ask the company for feedback about the interview, stating that you're hoping to learn from the experience. Most companies will be happy to help you in your endeavors. So that's it from me. I really hope that you found the above 10 tips useful and that you can go into your next social care worker interview feeling that extra bit more confident. If you're applying for a job at Three Trees Care and Support Limited, myself or my team look forward to seeing you before too long. And if you found the above useful, please don't hesitate to like, follow or subscribe our social media channels, as we'll be pushing out plenty more content to help you look after yourself and others. So until next time, please take care.